Welcome to Second City Sports Chat. I'm your host, Ryan Evan, alongside the Freakster, Dan Frigo. We remember 12 years ago today was the tragedy of 9/11, where many people many innocent Americans and innocent lives were taken from us due to terrorist attacks. We would like to have a moment of silence for all those victims and their families. All right, thank you very much for that. We will start off, before we get into our big NFL talk, let's talk Chicago teams. We got the Blackhawks started training camp. They're pretty excited, ready for October 1st, 20 days until the start of the season. Pretty happy about that, see what the defending champs can get going and see what they can do. Dan, what's your thoughts? What do you think? How are you feeling about getting close to hockey season?
Like you just said, we're really excited, ready to see them come back out there, explode, and hopefully get to say have a repeat. I don't think it'll personally happen, but I think it'll be an awesome season again.
It has happened in a long time, but it'd be great to see it.
Crawford's got a $36 million contract for 6 years. So another big player out there now, making millions of dollars in that team. John Wilson just got re-signed, right?
Yep, John Wilson got re-signed as well. They've made some moves this offseason, bringing back guys. I think this would be a pretty good team. Really interested to see how they handle target on their back this entire year. And if they do better than the 2011 season after trying to repeat, they weren't able to get that done that year, but hopefully 2013 is a very different year and they're able to repeat.
Yep.
Let's go to the hardwood, the Bulls. Reports are coming out reportedly saying that Bulls and Dang are not interested in re-signing or in re-sign talks. That Dang will probably be testing free agency, or the smarter move for the Bulls would be to let him go and trade him. They're moving on and trying different things, and they need more players to really make this into a championship caliber team. I love Dang Bang, but it's probably the best move for the Bulls.
Yeah, make some space for someone new.
Right.
He's not their top player, so it's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
To me, I don't say huge deal, but
I don't think he's worth the money that they want to pay him. But we will get to that on our NBA segment when we get closer to the start of the NBA season.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move to college football here. Top 25 pull out. Some changes in there. University of Miami is in there. That's nice to see. Oregon jumping up to 2, Clemson 3, Ohio State dropping down to 4. This week, Bama obviously still number 1. Saturday though, big game at College Station in Texas for Texas A&M. Bama's coming to town. The Crimson Tide. Dan's huge game early in the season, especially for SEC play. You got Bama or you got Johnny Manziel winning again against them.
Well, last year, as you told me, was an upset game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say that was an upset game. So that doesn't mean that was meant to not happen. Most people did not pick them to win that game. It was a surprise game. So this year, I feel like Bama has time to train. See how they play, how Manziel plays. And I feel like they're going to come out on top and beat them.
Yeah, I agree that I think now that Nick Saban and the rest of the Alabama team has time to study Johnny Manziel, study how they and Texas A&M in general, and see how they play. I don't think Johnny football is going to have as big as a game as he did last year, but I think it will be a good game. I think it'll be close. I'd love to see Texas A&M beat Bama and knock them off early, but I think that Money Manziel is going to lose this one, and the Crimson Tide will keep on rolling. We got another college football this week. Washington, number 19, they have to play in Chicago. They're playing U of I, seeing if U of I can maybe get an upset against a top 25 team this season. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move to NFL talks. We do have on ESPN, we started a fantasy football league. 6 teams in the league. We had our first week this week, just like everybody else. I'll go through the scores and some big players for each person. First game, we had Tim versus Dan, the Freakster. Tim finished 162, led by A.J. Green's 37 points. And Dan, who after having a giant start on Thursday night, only finished 149. Peyton and Wes Welker gave you both 71 points all combined.
That's
pretty good.
I really thought I was going to win that one.
So did everybody else.
Freaking A.J. Green.
Yeah, Tim pulled it out. Clutch Tim. Then we moved to Pete and Bakari. Bakari won 151. He led by Colin Kaepernick's 30 points. And Pete finished 104. Brandon Marshall getting him 24 points. He just did not have a great week. Megatron, looking not like a Megatron or a Transformer at all. He looked like Shia LaBeouf, only getting him 7 points. And then we go to what I guess some of you guys really consider the game of the week. Diana versus myself. Diana finished with 158, led by Rogers 24 points and McCoy's 25. I finished with 123. Got some points from Randall Cobb with 23 points from him, but not a good week for me. Yes, indeed, I did lose my own girlfriend in fantasy football. It's not great, but congrats to her, Bukhari, and Tim on knocking off Second City Sports Chat in all of week 1.
Week 1 doesn't care.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Well, I cared a little bit.
You guys got kind of destroyed. Well, Pete did. You're
not here to defend himself.
Yeah, he got destroyed. You're behind, and me and Tim were one of the ones that really kind of had a chance to go back and forth, but Alfred Morris didn't feel like playing for me.
Yeah, I understand. It wasn't great for you this week. Now we're gonna go into this week. We got the matchups. Tim takes on Diana. Pete versus Dan. This would be a good grudge match. And then myself versus Bukhari. Good luck to everybody this week. Hopefully I can pull out a victory. Now we move to scores of week 1. In our week 1 picks, Dan is in the lead with 15. Nick behind him at 14. Then a 3-way tie at 12 between Bukhari, Pete, and Tim. Dan, you had the magic working this week, getting your picks right. How'd you do it?
Yeah, I just know my teams.
You just know your teams?
Yeah.
He's a guru. He's a football guru. We'll start with the scores. Let's start with the Chicago Bears. Dan at the game. He was in attendance. He got to see the Bears opening game of the season. That's pretty awesome. They won 24-21. Cutler 26 of 33, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Brandon Marshall, obviously his number 1 guy, 8 catches, 104 yards and a touchdown. On the Bengals side, Andy Dalton 26 of 32, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. But AJ Green, who had a mega game, 9 catches, 162 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dan, you were in attendance at the game. Tell me what you thought about the Bears, Bengals, and where you see them going this season.
Well, the first half, Bengals were coming out on top. They kind of did most of the stuff during the first half. The offense wasn't doing good on the Bears side. They weren't moving the ball good. Cutler kept throwing passes behind the receiver, and they kept missing it. And then offense, obviously, Dalton, AJ Green, just killing the Bears the first half. And then it always seems like, to me personally, after the Bears start losing, they feel like that now that we're losing, we will actually move the ball and get some tutties. But I feel like that game should have been Bengals win. But honestly, AJ Green, I don't know what the Bears defense was thinking. Why would you single cover him? I know Charles Tillman's a good cornerback, but you cannot single cover AJ Green. He's athletic and fast. Mm-hmm. And some of those calls is what really changed the game for the Bengals, and that's how the Bears came on top personally.
Yeah, Cincinnati shot themselves in the foot a few times, and that's you're not going to be able to beat teams you do that late in games.
Yeah, the Bengals defense is actually getting very good now. And I feel like both of them during the season, I feel like Bengals and the Bears, I think they'll both do pretty decent during the season. I think the Bengals will be a little better than the Bears, though. I think the Bears will be kind of like last year.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was like you said, a rough first start for the Bears first half. Really picked it up in the second half. Good to see ball getting moved around. Cutler didn't get sacked once in this game.
No.
So that's good to see that the offensive line, especially with a couple of young guys on that line, holding up, and we'll see how the season progresses. We will go to Thursday night, first game of the year, defending Super Bowl champ Baltimore, heading into Mile High Field, take on the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning. And Peyton Manning welcomed in the new year with a great, great performance, tying an NFL record for most touchdowns in a game. He threw 7. Denver really, first half Baltimore was in it, but Denver carried on. They won 49-27. Dan, you watched the game. What do you take from what you saw with Denver and Baltimore?
Oh, I take that 7 touchdowns in the first game opening. That's just phenomenal. I mean, to tie the record, it's only the first game. I feel like he's gonna break that. I mean, he's got so many targets. He's got Wes Welker now, Demaryius Thomas. He's got Julius Thomas. He's even got Eric Decker. I mean, he's got so many good receivers to catch that ball to get touchdowns for him. But that game, the first half, yes, Baltimore was in the lead. They were dominating the whole first half. But I feel like they just got tired second half, and that Peyton Manning took advantage of that And Joe Flacco didn't, everybody thinks just because he won a Super Bowl, he's just going to be the greatest quarterback coming in the next season. He didn't play like a Super Bowl champion.
No, I don't think he played like a champion. I think he played really rough. I think this is just the start of it where you're seeing Baltimore, they lost a lot of key weapons this past offseason, especially Anquan Boldin. We'll get to him later with what he did at San Francisco. But you're definitely noticing Joe Flacco does not have many people to throw to anymore. Ray Rice can only do so much. The defense, I think the defense is lacking a little bit. No Reed, no Lewis. It does get to him after a while. So I think this Baltimore team is definitely going to have to try and claw their way to get into the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
But during the game, looked like there was going to be a pick six for the Broncos. Danny Trevathan. And then he dropped the ball right before he crossed the plane. Come on, man!
Great play.
What? Bonehead play?
Oh, my God. I mean, you play the sport. You do not know when to cross the line. I mean, and plus, you're so cocky about it that he calls a fumble, don't realize it, and then you have one of your players get hurt just because of it.
Yeah, if that injury was very serious, there would have been a lot of repercussions for what happened. But luckily, the injury wasn't too bad. He was able to get his knee fixed up and get back on the field. But yeah, bad play there. Got to work on that, knowing where you're at on the football field at all times. We will go to another NFC North game. Green Bay Packers taking on the San Francisco 49ers in a rematch of last year's playoff game. It started off really shaky, I think, for Green Bay. They kind of pulled it back in a little bit. Rodgers had 333 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Eddie Lacy, his first game of his career, 41 yards carrying, but he got a touchdown. The big thing was Jordan Nelson and Randall Cobb each had 7 catches apiece, each over 100 yards, each with a touchdown. They were really key to keeping the Packers in this game. Yeah. There was a weird call during the game. It was a 3rd and 6 situation. I believe Kaepernick rolled out. Clay Matthews dove out at him as he crossed out of bounds lines and ended up hitting him and knocking him down. They threw the flag for unsportsmanlike, I believe what the call was, for hitting the guy out when he's already out of bounds. They started a fight. Offensive lineman for the Niners gets that call. Penalty's offset. Now, when the penalty's offset like that, they're saying that the down should still count, so you play 4th down then. So it should have been 4th and 2. But instead, the officials, for some reason, repeated it, made it 3rd and 6 again. So basically, just gave them a free play, and they were able to score. San Francisco was able to score, and Green Bay fans are not happy about that. It did affect them a little bit. It did. San Francisco won this game 34-28. Colin Kaepernick had a huge game, 412 yards, his first career 400-yard game, and he had 3 touchdowns. And the big story here, making his debut for the other Harbaugh brother, Anquan Boldin, 13 catches, 208 yards, and a touchdown. What a beast performance this week to really start things off for him and his new team.
Yeah.
One game that interested us in particular, Dan, I know you were watching it and you were interested, was the Philadelphia-Washington game. Chip Kelly's new offense. We didn't get to see any of it in the preseason. Finally showed us, as Mike Vick said, 60% of the offense. And this 60%, that's scary because that was probably one of the fastest offenses I've ever seen run.
Oh, my God. I think that the Washington defense had no clue what was happening. I think that cannot follow it. It's got so tired. It's just they could not. I mean, toward the end of the game, they were kind of we were holding back a little more, but that was just completely different. Yeah. Awesome to see, though. I did like that, though.
Yeah, it was nice to see that an offense like that, a college-like offense, can transition into the NFL. It shows you that the NFL is changing very rapidly through the years, and with the athletes like Deshaun Jackson, McCoy, and Vick, this offense can fly for a long time. And I think that the issue that teams are going to come into is you can study film on this offense as much as you want, but you're not going to really studying the film isn't going to show you or help you realize the amount of, stamina that you're going to have to take to go through this. Washington's defense just got ran down. I think that was the biggest problem, that Philly moved so quick, and I mean, at one point there was like 19 seconds in between plays. I mean, it's intense and it's fast, and it's really when you're playing at such a fast pace with in this game, it's going to be really hard to stop. And McCoy had 184 yards and a touchdown, 1 yard shy of his career high. Great game by him, and a great game by the Eagles, who pulled this one out 33-27. But on the other side of the ball, Washington, RG3, his return from his injury, definitely saw what I think most people thought, which was some rust. I mean, he hasn't played on in 200-something days, I think. Mm-hmm. You could tell he wasn't throwing off the leg the right way that he was supposed to. He picked it up in the second half, though, but you're definitely seeing he's a little gun-shy right now.
I mean, when the beginning of the game, they kind of showed his he's trying to pump up the team, saying, we do this together. But it's kind of hard to say that when you haven't played in like 240-something days. You haven't played in preseason, and then you just come out and say, let's do this together, let's work it out. It's kind of hard to connect with your teammates when you haven't played in that long a time.
Yeah, it is. I agree. It was hard, and I think that as the season progresses, it'll get better, and he'll knee will feel better, and he'll be able to make more electric plays.
Yeah, and no one knows how fast that offense was playing. They did 53 plays in the first half, which has been the most since the 1988 Vikings.
Yeah, that Eagles offense is quick, and we will continue to see as the season goes if any defenses can figure them out and stop them. More NFL news here. Jacksonville, against the Chiefs this week, they only scored 2 points. That was it, a safety. That was their only
just
chance.
A punt block, and that's it.
That's rough. We'll leave it at that. Tampa Bay and the New York Jets. We have all been very critical on this podcast about the New York Jets, about how they could go 0-16. 0-16 is the possibility. 2-14 is probably the best. Well, they got one of those wins against my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Quite upsetting. 18-17, they pulled that one out with a field goal with 2 seconds left. Geno Smith, his debut, 256 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. First half, I think he looked a little rough. If you watch him, he did not look comfortable at all. He looked, he couldn't find his guys. A lot of pressure was getting to him, and he couldn't roll out. But in the second half, they really changed things up, that offense, where they allowed a lot of play action, a lot of boot kicks to the right or to the left, allowed him to get out and get that offensive line, take the pressure off the line, so he had more help the receivers.
More time just to get the ball. He's new to the game. You put all the pressure on him, he's going to make mistakes.
Right. Yeah. Tampa, Josh Freeman, only 15-31, 210 yards and a touchdown. I think this was the Josh Freeman of old we saw, not the Josh Freeman of last year. And considering it's his contract year, he's really got to step it up if he wants to stay, I think, with this team. Then we will the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. AP, first play of the year, 78-yard touchdown run. That's how you kick off a season for yourself, coming off an MVP year. Mm-hmm. I think he just wants to continue that and push forward with that. He scored 3 touchdowns in that game. But that was all the offense that Minnesota had.
Yeah, he only had, after that run, 20 extra yards the whole game.
Yeah, Reggie Bush, though, 90 yards rushing, 101 receiving with his new Detroit Lion teammates. He had a great game. Good to see that. Gives Detroit an extra weapon that they were so excited about, finally having a running back, which they haven't had a running back like this, I think, in a long time, where now they have an extra weapon. Helps out Stafford, especially in a game like this where, Megatron was shut down. So it was good to see that they were able to find other ways to win that game.
Yes.
Then we go to Oakland and Indianapolis. Terrell Pryor making his first NFL start. He had 217 yards and a touchdown. He also ran for 112 yards. And he had a good game. They stuck with Indianapolis for the most part. It wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be. 21-17, not bad at all. Andrew Luck, 178 yards and threw 2 touchdowns, and he also ran one in. So good game to start off his sophomore year. But I like what I saw from Terrell Pryor and what this Raiders team is going in the future. I understand now why Matt Flynn just can't win a starting job to save his life.
Yeah, I mean, Terrell Pryor, I was actually really happy with him. Very surprised. He is very athletic, very fast. He can move out of the pocket. Mm-hmm. He can make decisions fast. Even if pressure came, he can dig something. Yeah,
it's really good to see that. He did a good job of finally transitioning, and the game time last year stood out and just watched things and practice and all that, and I think it's paying off a little bit. See how this season goes, though.
Yeah.
Then we go to Sunday Night Football, Dallas versus New York. New York undefeated in the AT&T Stadium since they built that giant thing. And Dallas at the time coming in was 6-0 against New York in the season opener, so something had to give, and it did. Besides Tony Romo's ribs, Tony Romo had 263 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. On the opposite side, Eli 450 yards, 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. DeMarco Murray running the ball well for Dallas, 80 yards and a touchdown. That's good to help take some pressure off Romo a little bit. Interesting was Des Bryant shut down only 4 catches. I think he was really beat up the whole game. But then Miles Austin, Jason Witten, and DeMarco combined for 26 catches. That really helped Romo out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Victor Cruz had a good game, but Dan, you pointed out earlier when we were going over this game, there were 6 turnovers in this game.
Yeah. But the score doesn't show it.
No.
Which is surprising. So that does show that the Giants defense is good. They can hold the ball. They hold them to scores, so that's good. That's good to see.
Yeah, Dallas was able to win this one, pull it out 36-31. Now Dallas is 7-0 in the season opening games against New York. That was a good game to see. Romo, I guess they said X-rays were negative. He didn't break anything. It looked like any structural damage to his ribs, but it did not look good at all when he took that hit. And Dallas fans were holding their breaths, hoping that Kyle Orton wasn't going to have to come in. That was not pretty whatsoever. All right, now we will go. That was our covering our week 1. Oh, no, Dan's got a couple games he wants to talk about. That's right, I forgot he got one more. Pittsburgh and Tennessee.
Yep.
Dan, take it from here, my friend.
Well, as first kickoff to Tennessee, they fumbled the ball. I want to say fumbled, missed the ball, got a safety, so Pittsburgh comes right on top of 2 points. Then the rest of the game just Ben Roethlisberger and the offense would get shut down. They just could not make the connections. They got sagged. The defense was just putting pressure on the offense and Ben Roethlisberger, and they just could not make the points they needed. And Tennessee ended up coming on top 16-9. And actually, it's been a long time since Pittsburgh has lost a season opening game. It's probably been around 10 years since they lost a season opening game. So I'm pretty sure a lot of the people on that team are pretty mad right now.
Yeah, not what you want to see from Terrible Towel Nation, Steeler Nation. You didn't want to see a rough game like this start off the year against the Tennessee Titans, but hopefully things will get better for them. But like I said, I don't think they have a good year. I think this is part of a rebuilding process.
Yeah.
The running game isn't there with the injuries that they have. Not having Mike Wallace is really going to hurt Ben, and I think it's going to be a disaster this season. But we'll now move on. As we talked about, Dan is in the lead. Our week 1 picks at 15 points. We got week 2 now, and this is week 2 picks. We'll start it off here Thursday night. It is the New York Jets coming to Foxborough to play the New England Patriots. Dan, Jets or Patriots?
We're going with New England.
New England, yes. I think that I am also going to go with New England. Tom Brady. I think Geno Smith, hey, listen, you played great against Tampa Bay. Hats off to you for getting your first win.
That was Tampa Bay.
This is New England. This is Tom Brady. Not going to be able to keep up with them. Now we go to Tampa Bay. New Orleans versus Tampa. Dan, who we got?
New Orleans, man. Drew Brees is just a great quarterback. He's just going to – I think the defense will not be able to stop that pass game from him.
Yes, the revenge tour kicked off last week when they beat Atlanta, and it's going to continue in Tampa. The Saints are going marching, and they're going to take Tampa Bay down this week. Yeah, you got Minnesota coming to the Windy City playing the Monsters of the Midway. Dub Bears. Vikings or Bears?
I have Chicago. I just don't feel, like you said, AP cannot score any touchdowns. Christian Ponder, I can't trust him. He doesn't seem just to be that quarterback that if it comes to that time, I can't trust him to make that big play, come on top.
I think the difference here is that Detroit's defense when Minnesota played them is nowhere near, I think, as good as Chicago's defense is. And Chicago will force Christian to throw, and when he does, he's going to make mistakes. I think not having Percy Harvin really does hurt him. And I just, AP cannot score every touchdown. AP, I think, has a good game, but I think Chicago comes out on top just because they're better, or their offense is better and more complete.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina, Cam Newton taking on E.J. Emanuel and the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh. I had Carolina in this one. I just feel like what I saw from last week from them playing the Seahawks, I feel like that defense, be able to hold the Seahawks from scoring all those drives. I feel like the Buffalo Bills, I don't think they're going to have a harder time, especially the Seahawks have a great offense. Yeah,
I will look at this, and I think it's going to be one of those toss-up games between Carolina and Buffalo Buffalo played really well against New England last week.
Yeah, too.
Hung in there for the whole game. I like that a lot. I think EJ Manuel gets his first career win this week in Buffalo against Carolina. Dallas at Kansas City.
I got Dallas in this one. Hopefully the ribs don't affect Tony Romo, but I feel like even though Andy Reid is, getting ready to start the new offense, Alex Smith, but I still feel like they're not ready to take on Dallas and beat them.
No, I agree. I don't think they're going to beat Dallas either. I think Dallas has a good game this week. I think hopefully Des Bryant, if he's healthy, he really gets a better game this week.
Yeah.
And Tony Romo can find him more. And I think Dallas wins this one. Indy is playing this week. They have to take on the Miami Dolphins in Indianapolis. Who you got?
Definitely got luck on my side. Ryan Tannehill.
That was so hilarious.
Thanks, man. That was nice. But Andrew Luck, man. He's got Reggie Wayne. I said it right. Reggie Wayne.
Reggie Wayne. Yeah.
I always get his first name mixed up. I always get that one mixed up. But I always think of the Wayans brothers when I think of that name. I don't know why.
Jeez.
Ryan Tannehill, I don't think he's got the skill against the Indianapolis Colts defense. The defense is very good. Mike Wallace, I don't think it's gonna be really hard for him to find some people out there, especially against that defense. And Lamar Miller, I don't think he'll be able to run against the Colts defense. It's gonna be a hard game for them, I think.
I think Indy wins this one easy. I just don't think Miami is that good of a team. They beat Cleveland, I understand. That was a good game, and Cleveland played well. But Cleveland didn't play as well as they could have. I look at this, and I think that Andrew Luck has another big game. They just do a good job. I think Reggie Wayne still has another giant game. I just think they roll through Miami pretty easy on this one. Then we got two teams that were on Monday night this past week: San Diego Chargers and Pete's favorite quarterback, Phillip Rivers, versus Chip Kelly and the Philadelphia Eagles.
I had the Philadelphia Eagles on that one. What we saw Monday against the Redskins, that offense is so fast. I mean, that was crazy. 53 plays. You can't. In San Diego, they got tired in the second half against Houston, and if they're playing that fast offense, it's just going to be god-awful for them.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to hang in there with Philadelphia. Their defense is not on the same scale as Washington's. Their offense isn't. I don't think their offense is that good. I think it's okay, but I think Philadelphia wins this one.
And if the Eagles can pressure Phillip Rivers, he's not going to be able to do anything.
Right, he makes a lot of mistakes when he's pressured too much.
Yep.
I do agree with that. Philly wins. St. Louis traveling to Georgia to play the Dirty Birds at Atlanta.
I got the Dirty Birds.
Dirty Birds rolling with Atlanta. Yeah, I agree. I'm rolling with Atlanta too. I think Matt Ryan, Matty Ice, and Julio Jones will have a big game. Steven Jackson playing his old team. I think he'll have a really good game as well. As long as he doesn't drop any end zone touchdowns again, he should be okay.
Yeah.
But I think they win this one against St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Washington, RG3, traveling to Lambeau Field to take on Pete's Green Bay Packers. Who you got?
I got Green Bay. I don't feel like the Redskins. I mean, the defense of the Green Bay, they'll be able to stop Alfred Morris. They can stop the run play. But passing, that's the only thing I'm kind of where I'm looking for.
Oh yeah, because worried, I suppose you could say.
Yeah, because
skeptic.
Skeptic. Because Green Bay is not. I shouldn't say bad. Not bad after the pass game, but I feel like they're having a hard time. RG3 can throw the ball. He's got power on there, but I feel like on top you can't stop Aaron Rodgers' game. He's got all those. Oh my God, I'm doing so bad right now.
He's got a lot of weapons.
Yeah, weapons. My gosh,
all right,
what's wrong with me?
I'll take over the reins here. I'll help you out. I think Green Bay does win this one as well. I do. I think that what you saw from Colin Kaepernick, what he was able to do with Anquan Bull and Vernon Davis and Kyle Williams, what they were able to do to that Green Bay secondary is going to reign true. I think Washington's going to get the ball out there. I think Redskins are going to tear it up. But I think the issue that they're going to run into is I don't think they can score as much as and keep pace with what the Green Bay Packers are going to do.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is going to tear up the Washington defense and have a good game. I think Eddie Lacy will be able to run the ball, get that going. Aaron loves having a run game. It helps him out so much more. I think Green Bay wins this one because RG3 and the Redskins just cannot keep up with Green Bay. Cleveland versus Baltimore.
I got Baltimore.
You got Baltimore in this one?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that the woes continue.
Oh my God! Why?
I don't like Baltimore. I don't trust Baltimore.
But Cleveland.
But I find myself in the same way that Pete looks at it, where Pete, I agree with him a lot, that I think that Cleveland is making strides.
You guys think too hard about Cleveland.
No, I don't think that's it. I think you have a young, they are though. Brandon Whedon's making good strides. Jordan Cameron, that young tight end, and Josh Gordon, the young receiver, I think they got a lot of good young talent. Trent Richardson. Baltimore is going to have some of these games where they lose games that really shock you because they lost. They're the defending champs, but they're not. But deep down, they're not the defending champs.
Can't wait to watch this game and prove you wrong.
That's fine. I just think Joe Flacco is going to keep being Joe Succo. Joe Hayden's a good corner. He can shut down Torrey Smith just like Denver shut them down.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cleveland for some reason. This is my upset. This is an upset, but I'm going with Cleveland here. Tennessee at Houston.
I got Houston. I don't think Tennessee had a good game last week, but I just feel like the Houston defense will be able to stop Chris Johnson. The Houston offense a lot better than the Tennessee offense. I feel like Houston is just going to not dominate, but I feel like they're just going to come on top of this game.
I agree with you. I think Houston wins this football game. I think J.J. Swat gets a few more pass deflects.
17 record issues. For 16. He's got to get 17.
Hopefully he goes for it. I'd like to see it. He's an animal. He's great. I think Andre Johnson has another big game. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, Arian Foster can get himself in gear here. Or Ben Tate, burn him in and let him keep going. Whatever you got to do. But I think Houston beats Tennessee. Tennessee is not as strong as Houston. Here's a game that I look at. I think it's probably one of the hardest ones to call. Detroit at Arizona. Both teams showed their new offensive pieces, and they did really well. Carson Palmer for Arizona, he did a good job last week. Reggie Bush did really well for Detroit last week. Dan's tough. I knew this is a tough call for you. You should talk about that. Who wins?
I put Detroit, and that is my upset game, by the way.
Okay.
Because I just feel like I think Arizona is a better team, but I feel like that's stuff from last week because I feel like the Vikings probably could have won that game. So they're on top for a while, and then they came back. I feel like Arizona defense, I feel like they do the same thing. They come back, they score some drives, and since they have they have Kelvin Johnson, Megatron, they had a new person, Reggie Bush, Matt Stafford can make the pass. They got a good power on that team. So I feel like those come on top.
So that's your upset pick, Detroit. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll with Arizona. I think Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald, I think is one of the happiest guys right now that he's got Carson Palmer throwing the ball.
Yeah.
He hasn't had this since Kurt Warner, so I think it's a great thing for them, and I think their offense, I think they just have a lot of firepower. It's going to be good. I think Detroit it'll be a close game. If Arizona loses, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm just going to roll with Arizona on this one. Then we got the Manning Bowl, Part 3. Denver at New York. The G-Men. Who wins this one?
I got Denver. I'm just going to go with quarterback. My quarterback instincts, but Peyton Manning, personally to me, is just the better quarterback. You say, I know in the playoffs, they're completely different. Peyton Manning is horrible compared to Eli Manning. And I just feel like if I didn't know that Eli Manning was a 2 Super Bowl win champion, I would not think he would have won 2 Super Bowls. I just don't feel like he just throws, like you said, he throws a lot of picks, and I just feel like he's not there yet. Especially against this new Denver defense. I
will agree and say that Denver wins this game. I also agree that, yes, Eli Manning is a better playoff quarterback than his brother Peyton. But this isn't the playoffs. This is the regular season. Denver's looking real good. Peyton's on a hot streak. Eli and them are kind of beating themselves up about that Dallas game. I just think that Peyton's going to come in and Big Brother's going to beat up Little Brother in this one.
Take his toy away.
Yeah, he's going to take his toy away and give him some noogies. I think so. And we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Raiders. We got
Raiders are going to keep on marching on the field. Definitely got to go to Raiders. Jacksonville only scoring 2 points. 2 points. Losing by 4 touchdowns.
Hopefully.
Oh my God.
Hopefully Jacksonville scores some points this week, but I think Oakland wins as well.
Especially we saw from Pryor. That's going to be another good game, especially against Jacksonville defense.
Yeah, he gets a nice opportunity to show some more of his skills against Jacksonville. I think this will be good. I'm looking at everybody else's picks that they sent us, and Everybody's going with Jacksonville except me, you, and Nick. I assume Pete's going to take Oakland too.
Yeah.
We'll find that out later. And I assume Bakari would as well. But yeah, the rest of them going Jacksonville. I don't know. Now we got the game of the week: San Francisco at the 12th man in Seattle. Tough game. Real tough to call.
It's going to be the best game of the week.
It is the game of the week, yes. Really, a lot of people say this is your NFC Championship game right here. San Fran at Seattle. Dan, who you got?
I got my Seattle. I feel like you said, you told me that the bet was the losing quarterback had to shave an eyebrow.
Yes, Russell Wilson and Colin Kaepernick are making a bet. I don't know if you guys have seen the Madden 25 commercials yet.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't gotten that game, by the way, pick it up. It's a great game for any football lover or any sport video game lover. It's a great game. But commercial that shows them competing against each other. It's really funny. Well, I guess the bet was made between the two this week. The loser has to shave an eyebrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You roll with Seattle?
Yeah.
I will also join you and roll with Seattle. I think that Seattle's defense is very good. I think San Francisco's defense is really good. There are certain people that I know that will disagree with me on that one. Diana in particular. She thinks that San Francisco's a better defense. I understand that. You can go either way with this debate. I think
they're both good teams. Both.
I like Jim Harbaugh as a coach. I think he's really energetic, obviously.
He brought that team back from they were nothing, and then he's found to almost win a Super Bowl.
I like that he was able to make that move and go to Kaepernick. Not a lot of guys would have done that, but he did. He did a great move. And I think Kaepernick against Seattle's defense in Seattle, I just think it's Sunday night. It's going to be rowdy. It's going to be crazy. I just think Seattle's going to do better. I think Russell Wilson does better than he did last week against Carolina. Carolina doesn't do as much as he did against Green Bay. I just think Seattle wins.
Yeah, and Seattle's very hard to play at home.
Oh, yeah, they're one of the best. That's very true. And then we got Monday Night Football, AFC North battle. The Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Bengals of Cincinnati. Pittsburgh looking to avoid going 0-2. So is Cincinnati. Who wins?
That's a good game because that's the rivalry game right there. Because Bengals scored to go to the playoffs, and Pittsburgh got denied. Which was actually good because what were they going to do in the playoffs? They weren't even good that year.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to be a good game. I feel like Cincinnati will come on top. What I saw from Sunday, they have a very good defense. I feel like they'll just do what Tennessee did. They'll be able to stop Ben Roethlisberger. They'll be able to put pressure on him. And if Tennessee can do it, Cincinnati can definitely do it. As long as they don't make poor decisions, bad calls. Andy Dalton's got A.J. Green to throw to. So it's going to be, I feel like Cincinnati will come on top.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to have a big game. I think Cincinnati wins this one. Pittsburgh's just struggling, and I just don't see them being able to fix it against Cincinnati this week. Big Ben's going to get eat up, I think, again. It's not going to be good, but Cincinnati wins this one on Monday night. Well, those are our picks. I'm looking at them right now. There's only 3 differences we have this week, so it's going to be really tight to see what happens here. Dan's upset pick was Detroit over Arizona. Mine is the Cleveland Browns over the Ravens. We will see what happens with this. You guys want to chime in, tell us what you think of our picks, tell us your picks, whatever you got, any questions you got to ask us. If you want to ask us fancy questions, we're more than happy to answer those. You can get at us with Twitter at Second City SC. We appreciate the follows, we appreciate the retweets, everything. We love that stuff. Facebook.com/Second City Sports Chat. Like us, leave us comments. Follow us. Yeah, Dan really wants us to we need some followers. Help us out. YouTube. YouTube.com/Second City Sports Chat. The link doesn't pull up for you. Just let us know and we can fix that right up for you.
Yeah.
Check us out. Subscribe to us. Check out our videos. Leave us comments. That would help us out, and we really appreciate that.
And on an ending note, since this is the 9/11 podcast, I will say that New York is building a new museum tribute to 9/11, and that museum will be open sometime next year. So if you want to make a trip, go out there.
Yeah, very nice. Go out there, see the memorial, see anything, any games that are out there. There's always stuff going on. Thank you for listening. Be tuned for next week. We will be having some special guests on with us, giving us their picks. Keep listening. We appreciate it. God bless the United States of America, and we're out.